Hi everyone, Dom here. Welcome to Ace Week channel. We know that video games have been booming since their release. I mean, all of them. They are intended to be our tools to have fun, release stress, and so on and so on. But nowadays, there is also a ton of competition using video games, where it is an active competition like player versus players, or a passive competition like self-competing games, whether it is by defeating other players or obtaining a maximum rewards by a challenge. In both of them, we'll obviously need a strategy to achieve our goal. Strategy. To be precise, we will talk about specific strategy that is used to counteract a pinch situation or quickly get out of that kind of circumstances. We also know that every games have their own forums and community. We can share this game knowledge and discuss our strategy. And then, boom! A powerful strategy is born, and the community approve it. A well-known, common, yet powerful strategy engraved in people's brain, and they can clear most contaminated. And that is what we call meta. And we will talk about it and its impact on video games and its community. And I will call it meta impact. Before I continue, I would like to say that I have conducted some research already and found out that what I'm going to talk about is already chilled over. You may call it the spoken version of their article, but you know, I have my own opinion. Based on the UNSW article by Liam Ho, meta is generally agreed upon strategy by the community. And the said strategy is considered the most effective way to reach the goal. Just like some people say that meta is an acronym for most effective tactics available. I assume you already know how meta was born. And now, let's start to know further who is Mr. Meta. Meta is not limited to video games. Board games like chess also use meta, where a player has to step ahead and not let his or her opponent ahead of his or her. But in video games, there are a lot of factors that make a tactic meta. Equipment, characters, team synergy, and how you play decides whether a tactic could be called a meta. In PvP games like Mobile Legends, you will need certain equipment to make your character stronger and good chemistry with your team. You will need both of them to win the game. And not only that, you will have to keep an eye on your opponent and predict how they will act. Not so different from PvP games, solo games like PvE games also require the player to make their character powerful. PvE games usually give their player a lot of characters and equipment, and all of them have unsimilar purpose. You can take Genshin Impact as an example, because lately I also played it. The game has a ton of characters and each of them has its own role. Now we can get into our main topic. Just what is the impact brought by the meta? In many cases, in PvP games, meta can be overpowered. That is why meta is always changing. The game developers don't want their games to be ruined, and will always find a way to create a balanced environment. They will change their game system or make said character weaker so that the player will not get bored with the game they are playing. That being said, players will also find a way to establish another meta. Unlike multiplayer-oriented game, the PvE game's meta will change based on the challenge given by developers. By adding new enemies, changing the challenge environment, and throwing a new event, the meta will gradually change. For example, to get rid of multiple enemies quickly, you'll need a crowd control character and AoE damage dealer. To defeat tough enemies, you'll need an insanely strong characters that could deal massive damage in one go. And in some cases, you will probably need to get said character first, and unfortunately, not for free. From what we have talked before, we can conclude that meta has a great impact on video games and their community. 1. Video games will be updated from time to time. Their developers will make a slight or probably significant change to make it balanced. 2. Changing meta will mean another creativity. The community will think hard to establish a new meta. 3. An already agreed strategy will limit some players' creativity. They will be glued to the meta and not make another creative idea. 4. In some games, people will pay to get strong equipment and characters. They will pay with their money. Yeah, real money. Guys, meta can be practical, but it also has the ability to lock players' creativity. In gaming culture, they are called meta slave. The people that will only follow meta to an unlimited extent. So, please just be creative and do not be too dependent on meta. Just be like Spongebob. Use your
imagination.
That's it. Hope you enjoyed this video and may what you learn come helpful to you. Thank you and see you next time.